Wonderful. Travis, I'm so grateful that you're here to spend time with us. I'm excited to glean on your experience as a therapist and specifically working with priests and what you've done in your diocese. So, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Alex. Happy to be here. Happy to share.
Yeah. Before we kick off, I would just love to hear what's something that God is doing in your life right now?
Mm. So recently, there's this verse from the Old Testament, and I think it's from Isaiah, and it says, "I am doing something new." And that verse came to me a while back, and in my house, I've got four kids, and we've got a baby coming. Number five is on the way.
Mm,
I put that up in our kitchen, and I'm not exactly sure what this means, but therapy is definitely one of those areas where I feel like he's doing something new in me. And
mhm.
then the expanse of our family and bringing in a new life is definitely something new. And this right here, this is something new,
Yeah.
something brand new for me. So I'm excited and also I'm nervous. So I appreciate
Yes.
being
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. The
welcome.
nervousness and excitement are both welcome here.
It's
I'm
okay to
excited.
be nervous and excited at the same time.
It is. It is. Okay, well, we've had our pre-conversation. We were talking about longing and desire, and especially in the heart of priests and in priesthood. And so I'm just excited to unpack this a little bit. And I want to specifically looking at longing and emotionally and relationally. Um, we know that celibacy doesn't remove that, praise God,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't remove that. And
Right.
so, what does that look like? Could you maybe speak into a little bit of just the humanity and spirituality of longing within the priesthood?
Yeah. I was in the chapel praying a little bit and felt the Lord bringing the verse that says, I came not to abolish the law and the prophets, but to fulfill. And celibacy doesn't abolish longing, but fulfills. And in some sense, there's a definite tension there. But longing is core. It's core to our human experience. It's something that we have embedded within desire and the need for connection. And that connection doesn't dissipate, doesn't go away. We still have that primary need for connection. I was blessed to go to a talk given by a sister here in Nashville Dominican Sisters, and she's formed in a lot of Montessori education. And she was saying that Maria Montessori, in a lot of her work, found that there's two kind of primary needs that children are looking for. And she said that children are looking for significance and belonging,
Mm,
a sense of significance and a sense of belonging. So we can look at that and kind of map that over spiritually and see, golly, are we significant in the mind of the Lord? Do we have belonging in the family of God?
mm,
And naturally speaking, do we find significance and belonging in our own relationships, whether it's family of origin, greater social context?
mm,
Um, that's interpersonally, and most of the therapy journey is intra. So we're looking internal to our internal family and seeing, is there significance with this part? Is
mm,
there belonging for this part?
mhm,
And those two areas put us in a place. It's a place that we find ourselves,
mm,
and we can kind of stack up with our life and see, how does this map over these desires, these longings for significance and belonging?
mhm.
The family of origin, our own experience within our family system, our birth order, certain unwritten rules of our family,
Sure.
a lot of that creates kind of I would consider it like a template or a pattern of the heart.
Mhm,
And if you're to look at that pattern, as somewhat of a map that gives us certain unspoken rules to live by, gives us a particular attachment style, and creates a like a neural network for us
Mhm.
on terms of how we feel within ourselves and how we feel within the world and how we feel in relation to others.
Mhm.
None of that goes away when you're a priest. That
Mhm.
all comes with us, whether you're ordained or not. So longing
Right.
is huge. It's something to be reckoned with. That's for sure.
Right. Gosh, even okay, so significance and belonging, I'm just thinking you started off with just saying it and there's a tension there. And I
Hmm.
just am like, can feel that and resonate with that of the like, I think you just so casually say like significance and belonging, and where that's like naming something very specific for somebody listening right now. Like, oh gosh, is that what that is? Is that
Hmm.
what that tension is, or that pain is, or the why I do what I do, and the like wanting for that? So I just kind of want to reverence that a little bit of like, that's like really big to like name those very specifically, you know? So,
Think about priests all over the world who have a desire, an inherent desire to be seen and to be known, and then to be loved. And
mhm,
I think being seen and known and loved, and then loved and being seen and known, reverence is like you're saying that that significance.
mhm,
What is my place here?
mhm,
And it's more than perfunctory, right? This kind of duty oriented role, the priests, in some ways, they are what they do,
sure,
but they're more than what they do.
right, right.
That significance is itself a tension sometimes for some priests.
Mhm. Gosh, and this just makes me think, which this isn't something we've talked about, but the um for naming all of this like longing and desire and need, and to
Hmm.
be like something commonly I'll hear in working with priests, but I've been called to be a priest, like I'm supposed to sacrifice.
Hmm.
And so the reconciling having needs is really hard. Of like, no, I want to sacrifice for my sheep. Like I want to be able to give of myself. And so when these desires and longing keep coming up, it's like a hard, they almost seem like they're opposing when they're not opposing, but to like find the harmony with those, yeah, it's like it's a dance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's like that kind of sacrificial love is inextricably connected to eros. And eros is where we find desire, and it's where we find passion.
Mhm,
But Benedict the 16th is in his encyclical God is Love does a fantastic job of recognizing that they're both kind of united and together.
mhm,
And that I think it was just this past Sunday where we had the Good Shepherd Sunday.
mhm,
The very last line is like there's this abundant life that he's calling us into. I came that you might have life in abundance.
mhm,
And as you mentioned, there's a distinction between tending to self and caring for self the way that the Lord wants to,
mhm,
addressing some of our latent or unmet needs. And that's,
mhm,
I think, sometimes where we can find like unacknowledged longings is in those areas of unmet needs. Tending to them actually puts us in a position to be of like full stature, kind of bringing me back to that thought that he doesn't abolish our humanity. And then Christ is ecce homo, like the greatest example par excellence. He's perfectly human, perfectly divine. He models this for us with a deep, deep union with his Father,
mhm,
and how there's this longing that all priests have to be in union with their Father, whether it's
mhm,
our Father who art in heaven, or their earthly Father, or their presbyteral Father, the
mhm,
local bishop, the local ordinary.
mhm.
notice there's a lot of longing for closeness and warmth from our priests to have that from their father.
Yeah, a good and holy desire. Yeah,
Hmm.
very much so. Okay, you mentioned unacknowledged longing. Can you speak a little bit more into that of the like what is that? And then like kind of like what's at risk in that or what do you know about it?
Hmm. Yeah, well, I do want to just caveat this and mention that I want to pay reference to the priests' personal stories, their own personal templates, their own kind of maps of meaning that they've created. And I think throughout life, we can have an affirming love, or what most of us experience is kind of a mix of affirmation and privation. So we
Mhm,
would be kind of curious around areas of privation that recognize and kind of pinpoint a certain sense of, you know what, I don't really think that my emotional life was really welcome here.
mm,
Um, or I didn't really, I don't recall really ever being asked by a protective figure or my family system, like, what are you passionate about? What's going on in your heart? So
mhm,
that would be kind of a key into recognizing these areas of unacknowledged needs. And
mhm,
we all have we all have various needs, developmental needs within the human experience, needs
mhm,
for deep relational fulfillment.
mhm,
And that relational fulfillment is, I would say, like a key area of inquiry. It's actually like one of the primary areas I look at.
mhm,
My therapy is interpersonal relational. So we're looking at dynamics of core relationships and how that has kind of shaped our knowledge and our experience of what's important to me, what's important to others, what I'm to expect out of the world as well.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. This even makes me think of like how to I'm like, okay, how do we move into like almost this like wildly practical of like a priest listening to this? It's like unacknowledged longing. Like, how am I supposed to acknowledge it if it's unacknowledged? Like,
Hmm.
what would you speak into that of someone like how would they even know? Like, hey, maybe you have something more going on in there that
Yeah,
like how do you have any like wisdom you could speak into of like how could he notice that?
sure. Yeah, I think sometimes it's paying attention to where do I go when I'm bored?
Hmm.
Where do I go when I don't have a stacked calendar?
Hmm.
Where do I go when I'm not in praxis mode? And
Hmm.
paying attention to those kind of drifting areas, whether it's daydreaming or preoccupation. And sometimes those areas can pinpoint some of those unacknowledged needs.
Hmm.
I would also say if you do have like neglect in your life or abuse in your life or big T, little t traumas that
Hmm.
as humans all have,
Hmm.
it's very wise to seek counsel for that and to have accompaniment. And attending to these areas may not be familiar at first, but when I'm working with a client and I'm blessed to be able to work with a priest, and oftentimes the question comes up like, how do I heal? Like, how do I heal? How do I heal? I actually get this, it's an acronym, comes from 12 step spirituality, which is like, I just need to first be honest.
Hmm.
I need to name and validate what it is that I'm experiencing,
Hmm.
and then be open to trying something new, something different, a different kind of entry. Maybe I'm hacking into that neural network in a new way.
Hmm.
And I need willingness. Willingness is the kind of the change key that helps us address some of these areas. You can do a quick Google search of like what are the primary needs of the human person and find
Mhm.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, kind of address different human needs that are there. There's been a lot that's been shared around these needs, and hopefully that can kind of give some of our listeners a chance to step into that in a new way. So the first step would be just in acknowledging and being honest and open. And
Mhm.
then depending on the priest's comfort level, I would definitely start to share that with the Lord. Um,
Mhm.
like, okay, what are you trying to show me about this? What do you want me to see here?
Mhm.
And ideally, I want to bring another human into this as well. So
Mhm.
that brings me to, I think, one of the areas of longing that our priests are really, really grappling with is that the area of friendship, the area of accompaniment, to really be anchored in with another friend or group of friends,
Mhm.
be fellow priests, or just a really trusted individual in your local area. I was
Mhm.
talking to a buddy of mine that has a bunch of a priest, not a bunch. He has a priest that comes over every now and again. He works at a retreat center, and he asks this priest, he's like Father, what do you want? Like, what do you need? What do you want us to do? Like, what do you want to do here? And he's like, really, I kind of just want to be normal. I'm doing the spiritual stuff all the time.
Mhm.
So attending to those normal areas, you like playing Scrabble, you like playing board games. Do you enjoy going to sporting events? Do you
Mhm.
enjoy hiking, hunting, fishing? Um, it doesn't always have to be um, mission oriented. I think sometimes the Lord is he's very curious about the desires of our hearts.
Mhm.
If you enjoy painting or puzzle making, I think, at least the way I see it, is the Lord is right alongside, very much enjoying that as well.
Yeah.
So honesty would be a first step. The second would be share with the Lord. The third would be to share with others, and then the fourth would be, um, okay, so how can I step into something new? What does that full stature look like?
Mhm.
And that's going to mean something different to each priest when it comes to like unacknowledged needs that they see within their lives.
Sure. That's wonderful. Thank you for mapping that out. And even just the like, if we went to the verse that we talked about at the beginning of like, the Lord has an abundant life that he wants to give, right?
Mm,
And delight. So making the space, the vulnerable space to be like, what do I like? What do I
yeah.
need? What do I want? And I
Mm,
also, you had mentioned where do you find yourself going when you're bored? Where do you find yourself like when you don't have a stacked schedule? And I would also offer the inverse of the like, why are you staying so busy? Sometimes it's legitimate, like there are things going on, but the like almost do you feel safe and secure being at such a high pace? Because if you're not, what then? And
mhm.
so just I'm like, gosh, I just have a lot of like mercy and compassion. I'm like, it's just complicated being human. We got a lot going on inside of us. And for a priest as well, it's just like almost to bring in like this is just the human reality, right? Like you were saying, of like this longing is in all of our hearts, this longing for connection and desire. So, gosh, thank you. Thank you for moving that and moving it very practical for our listeners. So, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your
Sure.
wisdom and sharing today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Thank you. God bless.